This woman buried her mother and had a date planned the very next day. And I'm willing to bet any amount of money that matters to me that had he wanted to schedule the date the day of the funeral, there is a 647% chance she'd have gone.
QT guy really got me in my feels, and I am crying because, well, let me tell you what happened. Okay, today I had to take my car to the shop, and he offered to pick me up and we go work out together, and we did, and it was wonderful. And then we went just for a quick Chick-fil-A lunch, and I had to get some grocery shopping done, and he came with me to get some groceries. And when we got up to pay, he wanted to pay for, why am I crying? He wanted to pay for the groceries for my family. And I didn't let him. And then we got to the car, and he told me to get in the car and he would put all the groceries away. And I didn't let him. I needed to help, right? And then he was like, I'll put the cart away. And I was like, no, I got it. I didn't let him. I'm not used to someone loving me this way, treating me this way. So it's like uncomfortable. And I'm so mad at myself for not letting him just be the man that he wanted to be. And I'm going to tell him tonight and apologize. But I'm also really mad at myself that this man is probably only a couple inches taller than me. I don't know. He's probably like 5'7". You know, one of the dating apps I never would go out with anyone under 6 foot. What the fuck? I also wouldn't go out with a man that had a blue collar job. What a I am. This man is so great. He treats me like a queen. And I don't know how to deal with it. I'm trying. I'm going to learn. Yeah, I'm going to learn. Because goddamn, like, yes, I will take that. I don't care how tall you are and how much money you make. If you treat me like a queen and you're so kind to me like he is, I don't know if he's the one, but God, has he given me hope and changed my whole perspective on dating. So just wanted to give you all an update and let you see that I'm a crybaby.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to point out here is that this is clearly a woman in her 40s, but she's talking like she's in her teens, right? She says, got me all in my feels. Now, I understand using, the current lingo so all generations can understand what you're saying. Like using myself as an example, I use the word cap now, only finding out what the word really meant over a year ago. I'm a Gen X or boomer, whatever. But when women who are almost a half a hundred say things like, oh, it's got me all in my feels, that screams immaturity. I say this all the time, guys. Women grow old, but they never grow up. Never, ever forget that. Then she gets to the part where her dumbass didn't allow him to do anything for her. Now, she didn't let him pay, which isn't something he should be doing anyway. It's not something he should be wanting to do, which tells us all we need to know about him. But okay, I'll let her slide on that. A man should never, ever, ever be responsible for supporting someone else's family. But when he offers to put the groceries away, put the cart away, and so forth, she didn't let him do that either. Strong and independent to a fault, guys. And now, of course, she is reciting the thought anthem, where she won't date anyone under 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-foot sausage, and all the rest of that. Now, it doesn't make her for having preferences. I have preferences too. Everybody does. Now, granted, the preferences of, modern women are pretty much the same these days, 666. And because there aren't enough of these men to go around, most of them end up at PetSmart when their options are on dry. But the reason why she's crying about having found a man who treats her like a lady is because deep down, she knows she doesn't deserve it. She's clearly attractive at her age. She works out and all the rest of that. That's great. But because she spent her 20s and 30s getting her back blown out by the 666 guys, she knows she's not worthy of good treatment. That's why it's so difficult for her and women like her to wrap their minds around being treated with actual respect. It's a foreign concept to them because they're used to being treated the way they know they deserve to be treated, like garbage. But then right at the end, she lets us know she's not going to stay with this guy. She said, I don't know if he's the one or not, which means she knows she's not going to stay with this guy. She went through all these shenanigans and crying and talking about how this has changed her perspective and this and that, but she's still going to end up either dumping this guy for one of her ex-flings, or she'll actually marry this unsuspecting sucker she has fooled into thinking she's actually a quality female and cheat on him with those ex-flings. Our detractors are always dogging us about the generalizations and stereotypes when talking about modern women. Well, I got news for you. Stereotypes exist for a reason, and generalizations are what makes the world go round. And this old hoe is another in a long line of examples that proves, once again, that no matter how old women get, they're still holding out for the mythical loyal alpha. Now, Holly doesn't know it yet, but she'll never be in a good relationship with a man who respects her. Why? Because she's been ran through by way too many men who treated her like the that she is. The ability to function in a healthy relationship with a man who respects her was out of her a long time ago. Next video.
I found out about my husband's affair, and my mom died the same week. Obviously, I was pretty broken up about it. I basically went home to bury my mom, and I was pretty much drunk upon arrival. So my sister decided that if I was going to be drinking all the time, that she should take me to a place that was acceptable. So we went out to a bar one night. I was just a disaster, and I'm sitting at the bar feeling sorry for myself. And across the bar, I see this man, and I was like, God, he's gorgeous. And in my mind, I thought, he's never going to talk to me. You know, I'm gross, drunk, ugly, worthless. And I just stared at him, imagining what it would feel like to be noticed by somebody like that. All of a sudden, a guy from across the bar comes up to me and he says, I wasn't going to let you leave without saying hi to you. And I was completely speechless. I thought I was invisible. He takes one look at me and he says, do you feel that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I feel that. And that feeling was this like electric, magnetic, instant chemistry. Something I didn't feel ever. Not in my marriage, not in any of my previous relationships ever. Never felt that feeling ever. And it was intoxicating. And so when he asked for my number, I was like, I couldn't write it down fast enough. So we made a date to see each other. And it just so happened to be the night after my mom's celebration of life, AKA funeral. And I told everybody about it because everybody felt so sorry for me, including myself. And it was like the only thing that was like giving me any kind of hope outside of my kids. And I just looked forward to that day. And I went to the funeral. I came back. I texted him saying that I was done. I didn't hear from him. I texted him again saying, hey, are we going to hang out? And nothing. And it was, I would say painful, but that wasn't the right word. I was living in a sea of pain. And I had no more heart to break. Or at least I didn't think so. But there was just one tiny little piece left. And that was just like disintegrated. And so my sister, of course, comes in and saves the day again. We head to a bar because that's all I have, guys. That's all I have is me and a vodka soda. Finally, he calls.
Okay, so typical, right out of the gate, she's already playing the victim. Her husband cheated on her and her mother died. Now, her mother dying is not a small deal. I get it. That's got to be painful. But why lump your husband's affair in with the death of your mother unless you're looking for sympathy? But let's talk about the affair. Okay, women like her think that as soon as they drop one of the few trump cards of indisputable victimhood, which is he was Ivisuba spelled backwards, he cheated on me and so forth, they think they're above reproach. Well, maybe he cheated on her because she stopped putting out. Maybe he cheated on her because she's an insufferable. Or maybe he cheated on her because she cheated on him. It is always a one-sided story with these old hoes. I was the perfect wife in every way, and my big, bad, misogynistic husband just decided to up and cheat on me out of nowhere because he's evil and toxic. F*** out of here. There's always more to the story with these broads, and they will never tell you why their men step out on them. The next thing I'd like to point out is that this woman is clearly an alcoholic. Okay, so she was smashed at her mother's funeral. I'll give her a pass on that. But her sister recognizes that if she's drunk all the time, that they should go to a bar? Come to think of it, maybe that's why her husband had an affair. It could likely have been her drinking. You'd be surprised at how many 40-something single mothers drink all the time. I speak from personal experience many, many times over. Anyway, she then decides to fish for compliments by calling herself gross and ugly and worthless and all the rest of that. This is a very annoying trait, especially from older women like herself. But then she reveals her true nature for all the world to see. That is, the reason she feels worthless is simply because men don't notice her as much as they used to. Never mind that she's a mother, which should give any woman abundant amounts of self-worth. No, her children don't give her a sense of worth. Attention from men does. The only reason why she has any hope for the future is because some good-looking guy noticed her at a bar. Through all of her heartache, all of her loss, it's not her children that bring her joy and comfort. It's some random stranger at a bar who used one of the oldest tricks in the book when he asked her, "Do you feel that?" What's funny is that she actually thought he was talking about chemistry, when in actuality, he was just asking her if she felt his boner on her leg. Maybe that was the electricity she felt. I don't know. Anyway, this magnetic electric energy she felt, which is shorthand for saying he's the hottest guy who's ever taken interest in me, this is something she says she didn't feel in her marriage. So we now have yet another reason her husband likely stepped out. She wasn't aroused by him for whatever reason and likely stopped putting out. So now we have possible substance abuse issues and lack of chemistry. No wonder her husband had an affair. It was the only way he could really stay sane. And finally, Carrie confirms what we've been teaching you guys here for years. And that is that if a woman really likes you, she will make time to see you. This woman buried her mother and had a date planned the very next day. And I'm willing to bet any amount of money that matters to me that had he wanted to schedule the date the day of the funeral, there is a 647% chance she'd have gone. And keep in mind that she put all her eggs in this dude's basket. All her hopes and dreams hinged on the tall, dark, and handsome stranger she talked to for 8.5 minutes at a bar when she was plastered. That's what gave her hope, gentlemen. These old hoes are for recreational use only, guys. All right, that's all I got for you sons of bitches today. Smash the like button if you like this kind of content. Till next time.